And we are finally at the top 4 of the Connecticut Regional. It is Marc Berenbach back again on the left, and anybody familiar with the AMC streams will recognize Lauren Fitch on the right, representing House BaraLion. It would be nice to comment on non-red cards for the first time in a long time here on the stream. Seems like Lannister and Targ have been dominating this tournament, so it will be a pleasure to look at a different color for a change. Interestingly enough, Lauren fresh off her victory over yours truly in the top 8, so I do have experience in seeing how her deck works. She has a cute little dominance module going on with Top4 and the Iron Throne, and she gets it right off on setup. An amazing setup for Lauren. She has 2 of the 3 dominance module cards right off the bat. By that I mean the Iron Throne and Top4's Armory. The Armory being if you win dominance you can kneel it to draw a card, and the Iron Throne almost assuredly winning her dominance every round. So she is essentially going to be drawing 3 cards every round instead of 2, which is insanely helpful. But on the other hand, with only 3 cards, you certainly cannot sneeze at the setup of Gregor, a economy, and a reducer. Gregor on setup is insane. So even though Lauren has 2 more cards and probably has a slight edge, if we're just going on character base, you can't really argue with Gregor here.
I'll never tell. You'll know on plot 7. Yep. So I went into this. Yeah, it's the Beyond the Wall.
What's your pleasure?
First player.
I guess I will be first player.
Lauren flops an alt art that I can't really recognize off the top of my head. I really enjoy watching Lauren play, really because I think she approaches the game differently than a lot of people. She sort of doesn't really care what is mainstream. She just has a unique ability to decide what she wants to play and then make it tier 1, which I don't think a lot of people in this game have the ability to do that. And she is stubborn enough to figure out how to make what she wants to play competitive. And that is something that a lot of people struggle with, myself included. I did that a lot in first edition, where I said, I would choose a deck and try to make that deck fit the meta rather than the other way around. And that really doesn't work unless you are supremely talented, because the meta rules all. You cannot deny the popular trends sometimes. And no matter how badly you want a deck to be good, sometimes it just doesn't work. But Lauren somehow always seems to be able to figure that out. And that is exactly what she's done here with her favorite house, House BaraLion. So we see Marc has Drogo out on turn 1 once again. I do want to say that I'm not sure that's going to provide him with much value yet, because in order to take advantage of the double military challenge, he's going to have to really leave himself exposed. And Lauren already has 2 pretty crappy characters out that she's not going to mind sacking. I'm sure she would gladly trade the Burn Men and the Dragonstone Faithful if that means that by the time it's her challenges, Gregor and Drogo will be knelt. She's got a lot of money. She immediately takes care of 1 threat. Very good play. Still has, looks like $6, so I'm assuming, I don't know, I guess she has $5 left. Maybe that's Feast for Crows. That would make sense if she's playing the Dominance module deck, because she'll get 2 additional power for winning Dom. And it does start with 6 gold, and she has the King's Road there, and the Reducer. So she's got a lot of options. I wish I could see what was in her hand. I know she also plays Gendry in this deck out of the Dominance module, so that accelerates the power rush.
Okay, so you are now at 10. Right.
Trying to peek and see what she's got. Show me your hand, Lauren. Show us.
Okay. Force reaction.
I don't think she can hear me.
And I gotta take clean. Yep.
I was sitting right behind her watching this game for a while as it was being played, but as with any of my favorite sports teams, I get too nervous after a while and I just can't watch. I had to walk away. I get way too nervous watching my friends compete, and I like both of these players.
Cards, please.
So Tyrion coming out. Everybody knows I love Tyrion. It's going to help fuel her events, give her extra economy. And, if nothing else, if she has no events to play, it adds gold to help her assure dominance. Fiery Followers, another great card in the dominance module. It's going to stand at the end of the challenges phase, or the start of the dominance phase. I can't remember which.
Do you have any actions to start from?
But she is going to lose a character, maybe two this phase, depending on what Gregor does.
I'm going to play Scene in Flames for one.
But she is going to attack Marc's hand with the Scene in
What's
Flames.
your hand, Marc? Yep. Well,
We can see the Dracarys.
that's really good. It's
What
alright.
else does she have there to choose from? The Scene in Flames lets you look at your opponent's hand and discard a card. Unfortunately, she does not have Mel out to be able to kneel somebody as well, since it is a R'hllor.
Dracarys. See, I told you. No.
So she does protect herself with getting rid of the Dracarys. But I'm of the opinion that Scene in Flames, if it costs 0, I would still play it, even if it didn't let you discard a card. Knowing exactly what is in your opponent's hand is an incredible advantage. It completely removes their ability to bluff, and it allows you to make your decisions with very rare circumstance in Thrones, complete information. You almost never have complete information, and now Lauren has complete information. She knows exactly what her opponent's board is. She knows exactly what her opponent's hand is, so there's no surprises for her right now. So that is a huge advantage.
I have no reactions to winning. Yep. I'll take my unopposed power.
She's going to cross her fingers that Gregor does not hurt her.
We will trigger a keyword, so Renown, and the Wheel of Fortune.
She dodges the bullet there.
Yep. I'm not sad to see that go either.
I mean, I'd like to have it, but I'd like to have my guys not be dead.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Yeah, you're
The thing about Lauren's deck is she doesn't necessarily need board position to win. She's going to, if she can just slow her opponent down and grind out that dominance power every round, that can add up. If she can just sneakily grab a power here and there, before you know it, she's within striking distance of winning and can surprise you with a last-minute power rush. Especially if she can start to control Marc's board with Mel late to mid-game. So I'm not really too concerned about what Marc's board looks like right now, and probably Lauren isn't either. It's a very sneaky deck to play against, because you're never exactly sure what sort of trick she's coming at you with. And that's the frustrating thing about playing against unorthodox decks, is you sort of get used to how certain decks play,
As a reaction to winning.
and you get used to the sort of like a board state. You can see, you have a good idea of where you are at, essentially, in any given match based on what the board looks like. And when you're playing an unorthodox deck, in first edition that was playing against Hollow Hill or an ambush-heavy Targ jumper deck, you just don't really know where you stand, and that can frustrate a lot of players because it's a lot like a boxer, an orthodox boxer facing a southpaw. The same sort of tricks and trials are not going to work as they usually do against a standard opponent.
two times.
Unfortunate there that burn men get tears. So Marc is pretty well knelt out here, but very early game, so ultimately doesn't matter all that much. Even if he had left that weenie standing, it wouldn't have made a difference.
That is going to be...
He will be able to defend the military challenge successfully. Tyrion will get a card out of his hand.
Ooh, gonna get something good.
Or I suppose Tyrion will attack with the power challenge. Marc's hand down to 2 cards already, so this is what I'm saying.
That's right, that's right.
If Lauren wants to even the board state, she can do so at any given time right now by dropping Wildfire.
Yeah.
Military?
And that's not necessarily going to give her an advantage in the sense that if she drops Wildfire, she's likely going to have her 3, or she's going to have Tyrion and the Fiery Followers versus Drogo, Gregor, and the Dragon, probably, and she'll still be behind. But with a fistful of cards and drawing 3 every round to Marc's 2, she will quickly make up that ground.
You're going to win Dom, I believe.
Yes, I have 10.
Yes.
So she's going to get her card here.
I'll take my Dom power.
Yep.
She did not stand the Fiery Followers, but ultimately that doesn't matter because she was winning anyways. And look how sneakily she just got to 6 power
Yep.
without doing a gosh darn thing. And that is classic Lauren Fitch.
Indeed.
I'm at my reserve.
And now, I don't think she should drop Wildfire, but
I am under my
she essentially has Marc exactly where she wants him as of right now. In the sense that she has his hand in a lot of trouble and the ability to even up the match at will. And she can wait to do that until she wants. And we can see right there, she is running Wildfire. I think she should probably drop a high economy plot like Calm over Westeros here to protect her weakened board. That will delay Marc further, and it will allow her to Wildfire next turn if things get too out of control. I would like to see Marc drop a 2-claim plot here to counter the assumption of Calm on Lauren's part. We know he's running Winds of Winter. So I would like to see him drop that and really try to put the screws to her and cut her legs off early. So that is my prediction. Calm versus Winds of Winter. Okay, well we got 50% right. So Lauren played Calm. Marc opts to drop a second Noble Cause. I'm not really a big fan of this. He doesn't need the economy right now. He's already vastly superior in board state. The Noble Cause doesn't really do a whole lot to help him that Winds of Winter wouldn't. And now Lauren's going to have a chance to not necessarily take the lead in board position, but she is going to be able to stem the bleeding and be much more surgical in her challenges. She's forced Marc to go first so that she can pick and choose her challenges with precision so as to gain power stealthily. And Tyrion's going to allow her to do that. And I think Marc is making a mistake overextending here. He doesn't need to play these characters. He already has a lot of board position. His hand is weakened. If I was him, I would like to see him sort of hold back a little bit, wait for Wildfire to hit, and then drop these big bombs. He's giving Lauren an advantage by dumping his hand. I think he could have played a little bit slower. I mean, obviously having Jaime on the board is fantastic, and he'll be able to keep better characters, but at the expense of... And here he goes even more characters. And now he's given Lauren an advantage. He has a single card left in his hand. It is much more scary to Lauren to see 2 cards in a Targ player's hand with 4 gold left than to see a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 7th character on board. You're not really extending your lead very much when you're winning 6 characters to 7 characters, and you open yourself up to things like this. So Jaime just got milked. So now Marc spent 6 gold to essentially have a blank character on board. So, in my opinion, a little bit of a strategic mistake there by Marc. But again, we said Marc is relatively new to Thrones, not super new. That is a concept of not overextending that you will get used to after a while.
It's put to the sword.
It might be.
I know what it is because I looked at your hand last turn and you haven't played it yet.
Did you? Did you actually look at my hand?
Yes.
Maybe you saw something else.
Okay.
My cats are charging around in the background here. Apologies if you see some background, hear some background noise.
Yep. It's a bastard.
I'm done.
Yep. So notice very strategically here, Lauren knows that she's not going to lose a character unless Marc has a put to the sword. But with only 1 card in her hand and the scene in flames, she now no longer has to worry about that. Ironically, it was a put to the sword, but Lauren didn't care because she knew she could get rid of it. She's not going to lose any characters because of her plot, And we know that next turn, she can even the board state just by flipping a plot. So on the surface, Lauren looks behind, but in my opinion, she's very far ahead in this game right now. Looks like she has 3 or 4 cards in her hand. She's probably going to lose one of those to an intrigue challenge. But that's okay. She will redraw another with Topo Mats. So now Marc is top decking, and Lauren is drawing 3 cards every turn. Huge advantage. If she can dodge the Gregor bullet, she's going to be in a great spot to make a comeback here.
Okay. Yep, you're gonna win. It's on a post, claim 0.
All right. I knew I played that flop.
So
But it will
I wonder if Lauren would have defended if she had remembered. If she had remembered that she had no military claim. I don't think she would have, because Marc doesn't have a whole lot of power, and she probably would have rather had that third character standing to make a challenge of her own. So ultimately that character, that defense, was a little bit wasted. All it did was take 1 power away from Marc by preventing the unopposed. So very small play mistake there by Lauren. I don't think she would have defended it if she remembered. Though I can't tell from the math if she would be able to win a military challenge, but she probably doesn't care about a military challenge here because she can wildfire next turn and even the board up anyways. So she will be doing an intrigue and a power challenge, if anything.
No reactions to winning.
Marc just doing everything that he can, swinging for the fences here. He probably senses the wildfire coming next round and wants to maximize his characters. With Tyrion having stealth, he's going to be able to scoot by these guys anyways, so no reason not to really attack with them. And there's really not much worse feeling than top decking in Thrones if you have an empty hand and no way to refill it. But I think we know that Marc is running Counting Coppers now that I think about it. So maybe Marc isn't feeling too bad right now. If he'll be able to have 5 cards next turn into Lauren's Wildfire, that will be a very good plot turn for him.
Mister?
Yeah, that's unopposed.
Okay. Unopposed to claim?
Yep.
Power for 10, stealth and tight.
Not much point in Lauren doing the Intrigue Challenge at this point. It'll just put a Renown on Jorah. Yes, he'll get a Betrayal token as well, but probably not worth giving him the power with Marc sitting at 5. I'm guessing she'll sit. Interesting. I wonder why she opts to do the military challenge there. That will have the same outcome. It's going to give Jorah a free power should Marc decide to do that. And maybe she's trying to force Jorah to be gone. Or sometimes maybe you're just trying to make your opponent confused. That is a valid strategy. Your opponent doesn't know what's in your hand or what tricks you might have, so he may make a mistake just because he's confused about what you're trying to do. And here it worked out in her favor. She netted a free power out of that.
I'm done with challenges. And I have 11 for Dom. Okay.
All right, so Marc looks like he opted to let that go unopposed to prevent Lauren from winning dominance and denying her the Tobho Mat card, which is certainly a reasonable reason. I expect Lauren to wildfire here. There's no reason not to. I'm going to say wildfire from Lauren, probably Counting Coppers from Marc to refill his hand. If memory serves, I think we know that he's running it. He'll have a little bit of extra economy with the Illyrio's Estate and the Sea Road, and then 5 cards to mount an offensive. What will be interesting to see is if he bothers to keep Drogo or Jaime with the milk on board, and I'm not sure that that's justified. Okay, so we do have a wildfire that I think Marc should have anticipated a little bit better and dropped Counting Coppers. Instead, he opts to drop a 2 claim which is a reasonable decision. I don't hate this plot turn. It is going to put a lot of pressure on Lauren to at least marshal somebody. He's going to win the military challenge with Gregor out there. There's really not much Lauren can do about that.
Goodbye, fellas.
Bye, fellas.
Except hope to top deck some chud, I guess.
Shall we drop?
Yep. You're going first, right?
Lauren opts to go first. I'm not sure why. I think her deck prefers generally to go second, so she has better targets for Neil if she happens to get Mel on a top deck. But I'm sure she has her reasons. Lauren generally doesn't make too many mistakes, and the decisions that she makes are very deliberate. So she might have something in her hand that really matters to her going first. So looks like Davos, so she'll be able to eat one of the claims immediately.
Yeah, it goes back.
So that's a good move. Yeah, I would like to see what Lauren has in her bag of tricks as to why she wanted to go first this turn. No Mel, so she's not kneeling anybody. But there's got to be some sort of trigger or reaction that she wants to make sure she can do first. Otherwise, I don't think she should have went first here.
Okay. No actions this time to start a challenge.
Granted, she does know that Marc was top decking, so she could have been taking a gamble that he would not have been able to top deck a character, and then if she was able to win a military challenge, she forces Marc to defend it and maybe risk losing a character rather than executing his own military challenge. So Marc's hand is now empty again. He top decked a dupe of Gregor and a hand's judgment, which is now gone.
Mill? Still here?
So she's going to force Marc with this military challenge to either eat a claim or commit 2 characters for defense. Or I didn't see who she's stealth. Maybe she's stealth Jamie. So she's going to force him to use Gregor on defense. I wish I had paid attention there to see who she stealthed. But a wise decision. She's going to prevent Marc from being able to execute 3 challenges this phase. And nobody wants to eat 3-2 claim.
I just had it all, man.
Okay.
You had it all, and you still got intrigued out. Your 2 intrigues were my kill spells.
As we assumed, Marc opts to just use the dupe and not actually kill anybody. Only reason he shouldn't do that is if he's worried about the Tears of Liss, which out of BaraLion I'm not sure you should be worried about. It is a great card, but the event slots are already tight. He's seen that she's playing Scene in Flames, so who knows what her event package looks like. Now here she's again forcing Marc to either defend and win and remove his ability to execute his own power challenge, or to let the challenge go unopposed. So another smart play. I don't mind Lauren kneeling out her board there because she's putting a tough decision on Marc. And that puts her up to 11 power. She's getting
I have
there.
a policy where I don't use anything from the
But she will eat a 2-claim power and a 2-claim military here. There's not much she can do about it. Again, she's got to dodge the Gregor bullet. If Gregor hits her, it's going to be devastating.
Dude, that's what I didn't like about this deck in the mirror match. Like, you don't have comeback.
Ouch!
Oh!
And that is the turning point of this game. My goodness.
My hand was insane. I had the Jamie.
I think I had already walked away at this point in the live match, and that is really, really devastating to Lauren. I feel so bad for her right now. That she does a very good job of not letting things like that show, of hiding her emotions. But I know how much winning this game and this tournament was going to mean to her. So that really hurt. You hate to lose a game based on something like that of random chance. You know, granted, Marc earned the ability to trigger that trigger by winning with Gregor and having Gregor in his deck and planning it out, so he deserves that. But again, you're not losing based on anything you did wrong. It's just what happens to be on the top of your deck, and that hurts.
So actually,
Sorry, Lauren.
I will go first.
That's a bummer.
When revealed? When revealed?
I don't know how she can come back from this now, unfortunately. She does have 10 power. Looks like Mark's sitting at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mark, so it looks like it's about 10 to 10. And Mark just refilled his hand with counting coppers, so we were correct he was running that.
And then I will go, so 1, 2, 3 money.
But he can probably cruise to a victory unless Lauren can top deck Mel and really start to control his board with Neil. I don't think Mark can really lose this game. And that hurt to even just watch. Seeing Tyrion come off the top of the deck. I've been in that position so many times. Not obviously with Gregor, because Gregor's so new and second edition is so new, but just being on the receiving end of a chance trigger like that, it sucks. There's no other way to say it. It hurts. Especially in a spot like this, at a top 4 of a 55-person tournament. You've been playing for 10 hours, and to have your day end on a note like that, that's going to be a long drive back to Boston for Lauren. And to top it off, I think her and Mark came in the same car. So they're going to have to sit together for 3 hours on their drive home. Let's see if Lauren found Mel. That's about her only hope of coming back in, especially now that Mark has Tyrion on board. Without Mel, or maybe Robert, it'll be. I don't see how it can happen. Granted, I don't know BaraLion all that well, so maybe they have tricks that I'm not aware of, but I don't know. Davos comes back to eat a claim. Also, I mean, just as a side note, an underrated feature of Iron Throne that a lot of people forget is the bonus to reserve. In the first snow meta, bonus to reserve is really a boon. You don't sit on that little feature. I know there's a couple other cards coming out soon that give you extra reserve, and that's really going to help now that first snow exists. All right. Well, she does get Robert. I don't know if that'll be enough. I would have rather liked to see Mel here, but
okay. Or me for challenges, I assume.
It's better than nothing. It gives her a glimmer of hope, at least. If she can survive this round and top deck a Mel next turn, that could get her back in the game. But with Mark having a full hand again, who knows?
No entry guy comes over here, so.
Unopposed?
Yep.
Alright. I have no reactions to winning. I will take my unopposed power.
Mark up to 11.
And claim 1.
Glad you didn't have the tears, Mark.
Yeah.
I probably would have quit at that point.
Seen in flames.
Yep.
Lauren correctly is happy that Mark did not have the Tears of Bliss, because that would have been the nail in the coffin.
Alright, I gotta do some math here.
That's how it works.
Yep.
I mean, I think he should just be executing a power challenge here, because Lauren is going to be forced to defend it with everybody to prevent Mark from getting that close to the win condition. She'll have no choice. And it'll prevent her from making her own challenges. I think Mark should be playing as aggressively as he possibly can here. He might be worried that if he plays too aggressively and doesn't close, that Lauren could somehow sneak a victory, because Lauren still is sitting at 10 power. So if she gets 3 unopposed challenge, like if Mark somehow swings for the fences and Lauren has a trick in her hand and he stalls out at 14, Lauren could come from behind and sneak up to 15 with unopposed challenges. So if Mark is nervous or hesitating, I believe he's trying to figure out if he can close, or if there's anything Lauren can prevent him from closing, and double and triple checking all that math before he makes another challenge. Because he's in complete control right now, and he doesn't want to do anything stupid to let Lauren back into this game. So he's being extra cautious, and I applaud him for that. I think a lot of players sort of get to this spot, especially when they're relatively new like Mark is, and just sort of stumble along thinking they already have the game won and forgetting that Lauren is sitting on 10 power. And then he goes ahead and kneels out for a military challenge, which really makes me think he has to have a put to the sword in his hand. Otherwise, this is a really, really risky move. If we have to think Marc has the put to the sword. There's no reason to do this otherwise. He will get the renown from Gregor, because he's going to win this challenge. The only thing we're waiting on to see now is if Lauren defends to try to prevent it, and she does. So she's going to opt to kneel out to defend, to try to prevent the put to the sword.
I assume you have. You have to play as if you do.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Plus another 5.
They're trying to figure out the Bobby math now.
Yep. I have no reactions to winning.
Okay.
Is not opposed to playing 1. Take my renown and I will spin the wheel of fortune again.
And there, oh my goodness.
And
If the game wasn't over already,
Yep. Well,
putting Mel in the dead pile certainly was the nail in the coffin.
I'll take my power first. Forget.
Oh. Good game, Marc. Bad luck, Lauren. I'm so sorry that that's how this game was determined. But I've been saying it for weeks now. Gregor is a beast. He will win or lose you the games. And granted, I may be partial to Gregor because I am a gambler by nature, and I like cards like that. I love the Tickler. I love Gregor. You know, I will throw those Hail Marys, and because whether or not it's the correct strategic decision, it increases my personal enjoyment of the game. For those Hail Marys, I enjoy inflicting the punishment that those cards does on my opponents. It just sucks that it happens to cost somebody a top 4 berth like that. That essentially Gregor put Marc into the finals here. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be there because his deck is good. He's playing well. But absolutely, this game was neck and neck until Gregor killed Tyrion, without a doubt. They're just going through the motions here. This game is over. Even if Lauren gets any sort of answer, it doesn't really matter. They're just wrapping up. So I will just take this time to thank you guys for watching. I know it's been a long ride. We've only got one game left. That is going to be the finals. That should be up. If I did my math in my scheduling correctly, you guys should be listening to this on April 15th. That is when I'm scheduling this to be uploaded. I'm currently recording it on Wednesday. Or actually, I guess today's Tuesday, April 12th. I'm going to be scheduling this for upload on the 15th while I am gone in New Jersey. So if you're listening to this right away after it was uploaded, today should be Friday, I guess. And I will be recording the finals match directly after I record this one, and I'm planning on uploading that one on the 17th, which will be Sunday. So I want to make sure you guys have content while I'm away. So I hope you've enjoyed our coverage so far of this tournament and the commentaries, and you can continue to expect this kind of coverage from us here at AMC. I've also been in contact with the AMC South folks, and I've been talking to them about their upcoming roster, and they have a ton of really, really great ideas. I don't want to spoil them all because, you know, they're their ideas and it's for them to spoil. I want them to get the glory because they're kicking ass down there, putting out such great videos. But I think I'm really excited for you guys to see what they have to offer. Just the two of them, you know, filming and kicking butt. Really happy they're part of our team.
Okay. 6.
I guess I'll also take this opportunity to promote Dance with Dragons again. It's coming up, guys. Just a little over 2 weeks away at the time that you're listening to this. I really hope everybody can come out April 30th, Manhattan, at the Complete Strategist. Come get your alternate art confiscation that they had specially made and have your chance to win those 3 beautiful dragon's eggs. And who knows, maybe you'll even get to meet me.
Probably not going to work out.
Maybe you'll get to play against me. Maybe you'll get to play against me on camera. New York City always has great tournaments. Not sure what it is about that meta or that group. Maybe I just love New York in general, but I always walk out of New York, win, lose, or draw, with a smile on my face. So the finals is going to be a rematch of a game that we have already seen in round 6 of Swiss in this tournament. It is going to be Marc with his TargLion facing off against Lanny Kraken, Joe Mirando. I'm sure if you're a fan enough of the game or of the stream to be listening to me right now, you already know who won that game. But a lot of interesting things happened during that match that I think you'll want to see. You know, I sat there and I watched the entire game live. It was not a blowout by any stretch. There was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of struggle for board position. I think it'll be a very, very interesting one for both new folks and experienced folks to watch. So definitely tune in. Watch the battle for the title. Should be up in 2 days. Sunday, I believe I have it scheduled for 8 p.m. Sunday night Eastern. If people really want it early, let me know. I can see if I can figure out a way to post it early from New Jersey using my phone. Shouldn't be too hard, but I sort of like the schedule that we've figured out here. Things were going a little bit out of control for a little while of releasing 2 and 3 games a day. We've sort of relaxed a little bit to doing a game every other day, which is much more manageable for myself and for you guys listening at home, I think. Gives you a chance to have some anticipation. But let this game be a lesson for you. Milk of the Poppy is a very good card, but it's not always going to get you what you want. I think people loved Milk of the Poppy at first. Then confiscation came around and sort of people realized that their milks were getting discarded immediately after being played. So then people stopped playing confiscation and they stopped playing milks. So then people stopped playing confiscation, and now we see it cycling back again. Now that people realized that milks were sort of out of the meta, people stopped playing confiscation, and the meta responded by introducing more Milks of the Poppy. So you got to watch the meta, but it's a funny thing with a global meta, especially these days when people are so open and sharing deck lists and stuff. The meta changes so quickly. It makes tournaments much more exciting because, you know, in first edition, you really sort of could have the meta figured out before you sat down at a table. But in second edition, you can't. It's moving so fast. The community is so large and people are so open about their lists and what they're playing that the global meta has a chance to react to it and adjust on an almost weekly basis. So, as an example, I mean, this Lannister Kraken deck that won this tournament came out of nowhere, and immediately people adopted it, and it won the next 2 regionals. So I expect people to look for ways to crush the Lannister Kraken in the coming tournaments in anticipation of a lot of people playing it. So I don't know what the solution is right now. It is very tough to deal with the renown and the stealth that deck has to offer. It has a lot of really good answers. And solutions.
If I defend,
it's just it's tough to deal with, but looks like they're wrapping things up here. Thanks guys for watching today. I know this was a long game, but I think it was an interesting game. A lot of fun things happened. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.
The card I drew with Tobo Mats after you killed Mel was Mel.
Of course. That's what always happens.
That was rough. I maybe should have summoned a little earlier.
I'm sorry, not to cut your head off again.
It's okay. Maybe I should have milked him instead of Jamie early on in the game.
Yeah.
He's really good.
He is really good.
Yeah. Well,
Why
nice
did you
job.
want to turn off the recording?
Yes.
You guys are doing
Finals.
a good job.
Finals.